Yeah.
Go ahead and press record. Okay, so today's class, this is, I was trying to put a little bit of filler in here because I didn't think this would take a whole hour to talk about, but it's very valid about the people that you meet on floor. And I think this stemmed out of a conversation I was having with Blair that made me think that it's a good time to have this. I teach a floor class, but there is my level okay? You guys can all hear me fine? I never know where to put the mic. Good? Anna? Okay, yeah. So the different kinds of people you meet on floor and how to convert them. So I kind of feel like there's 4 different personalities when I was thinking about it this morning. They're the people with casual interest that might stop by or call. They saw something in the window and they just want to know what the price could be or where this property might be, or they saw a sign on their neighbor's yard. They want to know how much that is. So that casual interest. I'm not interested. I don't want to buy anything. I just wanted you to tell me this one thing. So casual interest. They're the people that are out there that will never buy. Out there meaning like, woo, out in outer space, who will never buy. I said that wrong. They will never qualify. So they're never going to qualify, and they're the dreamers. So they just want to spend the time talking to someone. Maybe they either just really are one of those addictive HGTV people, or they think they're going to inherit this money someday. Like just thinking like, business books, you read a business book, I Think and Grow Rich, like I am going to make something with myself, but they're cart in front of the horse. They come in and they're talking about these $1 million properties and they don't qualify for a $300,000 property. And I have had buyers like that want you to set up showings. And then when you ask for the financial information as a new agent, I wasn't asking for that. But when I went to set up the showing, the listing agent asked me for the information and they're like, you see it and you go, oh my God, these people could never buy this house, but they're asking me to set this up on this $1 million house because they think they're going to like start a new business and grow rich in 6 months. So they're those people. So casual interest, they're the out there people. They're the ones that might turn into some things. They might have an interest and you don't know where that's going to take you. And then there's the ready now. I want to help me now. I want to get in a car. This is the Hosea, like the perfect walk-in people. And I'm not even going to go there today. They're like, I am already qualified. I'm ready to buy. I just need a realtor. Like, will you help me? So hope that your floor shifts are full of those people. It doesn't happen very often, but I know Tina Miley of anyone in this office was super good at somehow getting people to drive around and get in her car after a floor shift. I just watch her over the years. So she was able to either she was just really lucky, which I doubt. It was something about the way she converted people to get them to go driving and go buy a house and put them under contract, not just like drive people around, but to actually get the closings from it. So the ready now, help me people I'm not talking about. It's the casual interest and the might turn into somethings that you want to be focusing on. How can I make them real buyers? And then the out there dreamers, you're looking for the red flags. And so you're trying to pick those people out eventually and discard of them because they're just time sucks. And you can be nice to somebody without spending a lot of time with them trying to help them with something that's never going to work out. You don't have to just be nice. That's not why you're on floor, is to just be of service to anyone that is never going to buy a house. So the ready now, help me is the only thing I wanted to mention of them is the ability when you're on floor, you don't take floor the day before you go on vacation. Just don't do it. Because you want to be able to clear your plate if somebody walks in and is I am ready right now. You can't make money off of floor referrals. So if you get someone and you say, Leah, I can't take this person. I just got them on floor. Will you give me 25%? No, you can't do that. Like if you can't help the person, you give them to someone who can help the person. So don't be doing it the day before you're on vacation because you want the ability. It would be awesome if you could work up to the 5:30 shift, the 6 o'clock shift on the day before you go away. You start writing down names. And just like Leah was saying, like she's too busy this week, or not busy, but she's scattered this week with family stuff to be able to help someone. But man, wouldn't it be awesome if somebody came in that's not ready for 2 weeks, But just in case that person comes in that you have to clear your plate for, you want to have that focus. Like, I am going to get a ready, able, willing buyer to walk in, and I can put everything away. And then as soon as my shift's over, get in the car and go drive around with them. But okay, so the casual interest people and the might turn into some things, I have found, you have the tortoise and the hare. I was always the tortoise. I was totally the tortoise. I didn't know ninja. I thought, well, I'm a new agent, I'm really young, and I am just going to be nice to everyone because that's my personality. I'll just be nice to everybody. I'll be super helpful. And how will they not want to use me someday? So it did work. Like, I was so slow. I would give so much information and be overly helpful. And eventually they'd come around and go, man, that Heather, she's really doing a good job. But what would a lot of people do if you're just saying, oh, that's what you want me to do? Sure, go and I'll go research that. I'll go spend 45 minutes researching it. Here's all the information I have for you. And then after 3 months of not turning into anything, I just kept sending them information. And then eventually they just used a different agent, or because they met them, they had no ties to me because they weren't part of my sphere. I was just another person to them. And a lot of people assume we make money off of just sitting on floor. I'm guessing they don't know how it works. They just figure we must be getting paid from Coldwell to sit up there. So they don't feel bad when they just move on to the next person. So it is important to be helpful to people and to put the time in and to show that they really matter to you. But that's why Ninja, when you do a Ninja class, and when you do go through Ninja scripts, and I do buyer scripts sometimes of the year, and I'll go through some today, but that's for a different class. That's why they ask so many questions. It's why they ask very pointed, like, how are you going to qualify? What would make you purchase today? How far out are you on your timeline? Like, just trying to structure to find out more about them. It's very, was that Aristotle, that you're asking lots and lots of questions and not talking too much, because you're trying to figure out and pull that information for them and looking for any red flags that would mean maybe this isn't a really good person to be working with so much. So you're trying to find out more about what drives them, what their financial ability is. And it is okay if you have somebody that comes into floor that's 2 years out. They said, look, I don't want to waste your time. And you get these people, or maybe they say they do want to waste your time. I want all this information. I'm not going to buy anything for 2 years. That's totally okay to take them. You just don't want to you might spend 45 minutes researching something for them on the first day you meet them. Oh, it's so nice to meet you. Here's all that information. I made this cool graph for you. I made this cool chart. Here's the different sections of La Plata County. I color coded them for you so you can kind of see where the mountains are. And here's a great website to go to. And so maybe that turns into a form letter that you use for a ton of other people. So take the time to set up, to get back to people and get the information they want. But if they're 2 years out, you do it and then you put them on a drip plan. You're not like looking for listings actively every day for them. You do the first search for them so they have an idea of whether it's a good match. And then you figure out an easy way to drop a person like that into a drip plan that you're doing for a lot of other people, to just once in a while keep in touch. So if I knew a person was going to not be buying here for 2 years, I drop them into a quarterly statistic thing. So I used to do statistics. You can do a newsletter, whatever you do. Do it at least 4 times a year. You reach out to anybody. If the Ninjas thing says monthly, that's fine too. One email, don't be annoying. Just one email every once in a while that tells them a little bit more about what's going on in Durango. Maybe send them a couple listings if something pops up that looks like something they'd like, but you're going to get too busy for that. So get them on some sort of drip plan that makes sense for a lot of people, and you leave it. And then remember, you put a tickler in your calendar. They said 2 years, so maybe check in every 3 months, call them. And I would say that's the perfect scenario, is if you call them every 3 months and just say, just making sure nothing's changed for you, that you weren't moving up your search to any time sooner. I had you down. And probably, you were saying your kids are graduating in 2022, just making sure that still sounds accurate. And then what does that allow you to do? It allows you to wipe them off if they say, no, we changed our mind. We're going to move to Crested Butte instead. Or it also gives you that extra connection with them. I made sure I did it twice a year to everyone when I was doing my best at it. So I had this big list I made a lot of money off of my 375 people. I always kept it to about that many. And I guess every year in real estate, I tried to add about 25 people, but those were my sphere. Those were my people that they were buyers I met on floor, or they were people I knew, or they were people that liked to get information from me. So I had a good amount of people, but I didn't want them on my list if I couldn't have the courage to just reach out to them. I did it twice a year. It wasn't a big deal. You just call and say, hey, just wanted to know how you guys are doing. I know you weren't interested in moving here in a while. Just wanted to touch base. Do you have any questions about what's going on in Durango? That's it. So that would be the best if you have someone that's that far away. Don't be afraid of working with somebody that you're like, oh my God, what a pain in the butt. I'm going to have to send them all this stuff. No, they shouldn't expect that of you. And if they do expect you to do too much work like that, maybe it's not a realistic like person that you should be working with. So I hope that makes sense. So what you're trying, oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
So what's the best way to go about like professionally not working with someone after you've...
Can you give me the situation?
So like, I mean, on any of these situations, like say you like kind of realize that they're kind of too much work to really be worth any of your time. What's the best way of going and kind of dropping them as a client?
What kind of work are they asking you to do? Because I think that would be how, like, I would frame my response depending on what they were asking.
Yeah. So I mean, I've had one floor call that's, she does live here. It's from a property out like way top of Lemon, so that's listed for $40,000. She's already told me if she wants to offer, she's going to offer it way under. And then she keeps asking like these ridiculous questions that like I really can't even answer, and I can't, like, it's beyond like my professional ability to even try and like ask the seller, ask the listing broker these questions about this property, about like personal issues. And so like it's kind of, and she's already said she's going to offer way underneath what they're
so tell me one question. So they're like personal questions about the seller's position or something?
Yeah, like in their position and their reasoning for doing a few things of like they adjusted the property line, which I was able to find out, but like it was because of, or like his grandfather's death was the reason that they took this property over. And it's like there's a whole lot of personal issues that I don't want to pry into. And
yeah, I think for that one, okay. So, and she already says, I think I'd probably try to say, okay, are you in a position that you want to start putting together an offer? Because these are the kind of things we can find out once you're under contract. In a market like this, I think it doesn't make sense to be doing too much research before you go under contract because you're just going to miss out on the property. So there's a really long inspection period. So if it's a house, let's say it's like 6 weeks, you can have 3 whole weeks to look into this stuff, but I don't want to pry too much into the sellers unless they know that you're actually, it's going to work out. So let's see if your offer actually is going to stand before you do too much digging. And then you can always have, there's 4 different, there's tons of different ways you can back out of the contract if you get it under contract and it doesn't work out. But just given what I know about our market and what these things have been selling for up in Sierra Verde, I'm sure that's what it is, Sierra Verde?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So given what's going on in Sierra Verde and what's happening with land around here or houses around here, then I really think I'm gonna ask you you really should put your offer in, and what they're asking is a good price. And if it was going to go for that cheap, the listing agent would have probably bought it or had one of their friends buy it. So let's just get your offer in and see. So I think you'd work on it that way. And if they kept fighting you and say, I don't know if this is, I don't want, I think I might say, I think you're being a little unrealistic. Does the person own any property around here? Probably not.
No.
Yeah, they're just coming from somewhere else. Say you're not being realistic about the market. I think I'd like to refer you to someone else who can help you a little better, and then maybe ask if the listing agent, who's the listing agent?
On this one, who was it? It was actually in Caldwell. I want to say it was Bruce on this one.
Oh, it is somebody here.
Yeah. So I think
I'd refer them to the listing agent and say, hey, like, especially if it's a pain in the butt person who's probably never going to do anything, I wouldn't ask for a referral fee because I feel that would be weird. You'd say, look, do you want to take this buyer because they're asking these questions? I don't think they're for real. If it works out, buy me dinner somewhere, or not like buy me dinner, but give me a gift certificate or something. But do it in a joking way that's like, just do it because they're probably not realistic. So yeah, I think I'd start saying, you're trying to lead them to something. So that's the whole purpose of working with a buyer, trying to get them to see if they're interested in making a decision. And if they don't want to, if it's like beyond their comfort level, then that's cool too. But yeah, with somebody that's a little weird like that, I think I would I might be a little more direct. And I know that's got to be hard when you're new. Because again, you want to be nice, but when they start asking me questions, I've had people ask weird questions like, has somebody died in the property? Like, I'm just really, or like, they're looking for a reason to not like the house and they're not sure. And I'm like, died. I don't know. Like you can
Yep.
almost say it's funny, like kind of laugh back and go, oh, I don't know. That's not something that people really, I don't know. You could look in the Herald to see if something happened. I don't know that the listing agent would know that answer. So I might joke back at them if they're being completely ridiculous. But if they say it with like that serious look, I might try to lead them to, are you going to make an offer somehow? Without saying that, you don't want to say, are you going to make an offer to this place or area? So you're kind of saying, you know, I don't know if I can help you any further. If you want to write the offer, I'm happy to. We have a long time during the under contract period to do all your inspections. And in this market, you really should think about putting the offer in and see if they're even going to take it, because it's kind of an unrealistic price of what your expectations are a little different. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense.
Yeah. So that was a perfect example of a red flag. So what you're trying to work for when you meet someone on floor, it's very ninja. This is the whole buyer script thing we talk about, is you're trying to get the appointment. You want to do your best on floor to not jump in the car and meet someone out at X property in the middle of nowhere and they just want to see the house. I'm right here. I just want to see the house. Are you working with anybody else? No, I'm not. I just want to see the house. And they probably don't want to bother their realtor, or they don't want to work with you. They just want to see something. And so what you're trying to do is like get them to make an appointment with you and meet in the office so you can have a face-to-face professional consultation with them to discuss their needs and talk to them, because you are a professional and you need people to act that way. Now, I know you're a new agent. So if you go into this like, I'm a professional, and you say, I need to meet you in the office first, or you're a little bit very sure of yourself, but your words you use are not the right words, somebody's just they're gonna be like, well, to hell with you, I'm not using you. So you have to use balance. Like if you know that maybe they're just not falling for it, they're not gonna come and meet you in the office, then just get in your car and go drive. But it is so much better and say, look, I like to meet people for the first time, to just talk about your needs before we go out and see a property. Could you tell me some answers to these questions? And that's where like the buyer scripts gets into. You're asking them questions to bring that information out. Are they pre-approved? Are they ready to buy? Is this something that matches what they're looking for? And try to get that in-person appointment, which can be Zoom. Zoom is fine. I'm doing all my interviews by Zoom right now with people. I'm not going out to coffee or anything. So it's okay if they want to meet in the office and you're comfortable meeting in the office, that's fine, but it's a little weird with everybody wearing masks. So Zoom is free and you can just sign up for a call and say, hey, I just wanted to meet with you guys today. And you have the husband, wife, or whoever, like it doesn't matter. You want to get both people on the phone if it's two people making the decision is what I'm saying. But you're talking with them and you're trying to get information from them to lead them to, let's see some other properties. If you're ready to go, let's see some other things while we're seeing that one. So, like they call in this one house. I want to go see this right away. Say, well, let's meet and we'll just talk about what you need. And we'll find out if there's other properties that might fit your needs too. And we can go see them all at the same time. So you're kind of like trying to get the appointment, right? Because that's how you are going to be the agent for them, because you're treating it professionally, instead of just running out the appointment where they're going to go, oh yeah, I called so-and-so over at the Wells Group to go see one after this. So I only have 10 minutes. So I'll see you later. And then you never did anything for them except like maybe you handed them your buyer package and they go, oh, I don't need that. Thank you. And you're like, oh, like what a waste. I just drove out to Forest Lakes to show this property. So it's great to go and run and do your best and try, and you're going to lose out on some of them. You just give up and you're like, I'll just go drive out there. I'll learn about the house. Just take it as a learning experience. You're doing the best you can, but it's that balance. I don't want to lose them. I want to work with anybody right now. I want to get the buyer, but I want to get better at getting them in the office, getting them on the Zoom call so that I can make a connection and I know they'll work with me. Okay. So it's about converting people in that way. So let me see if I have anything else. Oh, okay. So you are professional, but if it's no, never mind. Just, okay. If it's not going to happen with the in-person meeting or the Zoom meeting, they're going off to Dallas. They didn't have time. They just stopped by and they want to get your card and they got a couple MLS sheets. And you're trying to get all that information. It's okay to just get their email. Maybe they're not ready for an in-person like consultation kind of thing, but maybe you're just being helpful. You just want to keep in touch. So don't drop the ball on anyone. Make sure you write their email down correctly. I used to make people write their email down themselves. And then I looked at it to make sure it was right. And I will never forget the day that I had $1 million buyer in there. I'm almost positive they were for real. This is when I was up at Perk, so I was already a manager. I'd been in real estate like 14 years. And I went to send them all the information they wanted as soon as they left, and the email. I tried like 10 different combinations and it was not going through it. I'm like, okay, they could have given me a phony email, but I really think they wanted this information. It was on a 2-dog's house. And I thought, I let her put her email, but I was so excited about our conversation to not look at the email and realize I couldn't read her handwriting. So you do want them to write it down and maybe like repeat it back to them, and make sure you get their phone number too, so that if the email doesn't work, like, I won't bother you, I'm not going to call you, I just want to make sure that I have your phone number in case the email doesn't work for me. And I've never had a person have a problem with that. So be helpful to someone, even if they say, I don't want to meet, like, I just got to go back to Dallas. I'll be in touch in 6 months. Then just be helpful, send them information, and keep in contact. So I have this whole class about how to follow up with different kinds of people. Just don't drop the ball. Remember to have the time management stuff, like the, CRM, either a CRM, contact relationship management. So that means you have under each customer in your database, it pops up as a reminder on your calendar, or you just write them on your calendar for like, I want to call them in 2 months. So just put it down on your calendar. Call Joe Smith on November, right? So you put it down, and then maybe put a little note about what you talked about last time, so you remember like who Joe Smith is. So just don't drop the ball with anybody, and it will work. You keep in touch, and hopefully they turn out to be something. So I also wanted to talk about, sometimes you get floor leads that are, let's see if this is, I might go back and forth with this because I was just kind of thinking some thoughts. You get floor leads that are via email, and they don't give you any information. Maybe this is less of a floor lead. This is more like you get a Zillow type lead where it doesn't have their real name even. It has like Jay Goodson, or, it doesn't have even all their information. You just have an email. You don't even have a phone number. So for that kind of person that you don't even know what they were looking at, or maybe you do know what they were looking at, but it's really scattered. Like they're looking for a place in Dolores or Durango or this, and you're going, are they even looking for a house or a lot? Like, I can't tell here. Drop them into one of the drip plans. I have drip plans. We're going to have so many drip plans soon through Distinctive, but I have created, for anybody that I haven't told yet, I have created drip plans for people that you don't know what they're looking for, but they were on our website looking. Drop them into that, and it's a 6-month drip plan that'll just email them actual information with updated listings on it. It's all coded that even if you did it 2 years from now or you did it today, it's going to have new listings on it. So if you're interested in taking that class, come see me. I can teach that class on how that all works. But that's another way to just easily keep in touch with someone, is to drop them into a drip plan. Like they have this one at Distinctive that you might have heard about this morning on the meeting, where it's all about that revitalize training, or revitalize, and what that means for home sellers. Just something. You're just sending out something of interest. And it's really easy to send one to a group of people. So make sure you're categorizing people right in your database. So you're like, oh, who was that person that came in like 3 weeks ago? I can't remember their name, but they were asking me about such and such. Well, I hope you coded it to put such and such in the contact information. So when you're searching, kind of like when you're looking for an email in your email inbox, that you can just say whatever it is. Like I'd have people that say Alpenglow, like they came in and asked me about an Alpenglow unit. And they said, if you ever see a 2-bedroom come up, would you call me? So 3 months goes by and a 2-bedroom comes up. I can write Alpenglow in my Google search, in my contacts, not Google search, whatever it is, IQ. And somebody comes up and I go, that's the person. And I can call them. So just make sure you understand how to use contact relationship management so that you can find these people later, and then also use it so that you remember to reach out for them. I used to have, back in the day, I'd have my piece of paper with all my buyers, and it was just on one piece of paper, and I would remember to call them once a week. If it's a calendar that makes you remember, so be it, but figure out a system so that when you get busy, you don't drop the ball on anything, because it's all about, a lot of these people on floor are going to be a year out. They're going to be a year and a half out. And if you don't remember to call them, they will easily call on another property to somebody else and just start working with somebody else. So interested. I used to work. Oh, so if somebody said they were interested in finding out information, like I say, would it be helpful to you if I sent you some listings and of this every time they come up? And they go, that would be super helpful, but they're not going to buy in 2 years. So maybe they tell me they're interested in buying something if the right thing comes up. If the right thing comes up, that's the casual interest. You know, if I found this like dreamer property, I'd buy. So if I had someone like that, I used to, and this is again getting into a different class I teach about how often you get back to people, but I might send them listings every couple of weeks or so, or every week. I'd probably start more often. You know, every week I'm sending them the new listings. How much time does that take? You look through the hot sheet anyway. Just write down MLS numbers every day when you're going through. And then once a week, you pull up the little card and it says, oh, I have these 6 MLS numbers I want to share with them. So you write them all into Paragon, and then you share the link and you say, hey, here's some, I know there's like auto ones that just send them listings whenever they come up. This is more of a personalized touch. Hi, I was looking through the MLS. I saw these different houses. Let me know if any of these are interest to you. But I wouldn't do that forever. I'm not going to just like do that for years. So when I started working, what I would do is I'd do that for say 3 months. So maybe the first month I'm doing it every week. Then the next month I'm doing it every couple of weeks. And I always made a phone call on the 3rd month. I'd email them first and say, I'm just checking in. This is what I've been searching for. And I'd say 2 bedrooms or more, Durango Mountain area, not at this subdivision, but you like these 3 subdivisions. I say, does this still seem like the right criteria? I wanted to make sure I'm searching with the right criteria. And you're trying to get someone to respond to you that probably fell out of touch, that stopped responding. The first couple times you send them, oh, thank you, you're so helpful. And then they just stop responding. You're like, why am I doing this for you? So at the 3rd month, I'd say that, hey, just wanted to make sure that it was the right criteria. And then I used to write into my calendar, 3 months, Adams. If no, can. And what that meant to me was if they're not going to respond to me, I would call them afterwards, maybe a couple days afterwards. Hey, just want to make sure you got that email. I've been searching in the MLS for you. Just wanted to make sure I'm searching for the right things. Are you still interested in Durango? So I'd always ask, are you still interested? And if they wouldn't respond to that, like, I'm not going to waste my time. And I wouldn't get rid of them. I'd drop them into the thing that I sent them out quarterly. I'd send out the newsletter or send out the statistics. So you're still keeping in touch with them, because I've been taught, like, you never want to completely dismiss someone unless it's Hosea's lady that you're like, I just don't want to deal with this person. Give it to your, like, least, if it's not Bruce Campbell or somebody that's in here that has the listing, if it's another agent somewhere else, like, give it to your least favorite person working somewhere and like, hey, I have a great lead for you. Here you go. Feel free to refer away. And I want a 30% referral on it too. But yeah, just don't do it for you. If it's 3 months, if it's 2 months, just do something for a while and then stop doing it if they're not going to get back to you. And you know, if it's like $1 million buyer, I might go a little further and do it for 6 months before I'm putting them into a drip, just a boring thing, because I want that $1 million buyer, even if there's like 2% chance of getting them instead of 20% chance of getting them. I'm probably still going to work that buyer a little longer. And then no, most buyers buy. So if they're from somewhere else, there's a much bigger chance that they're not going to buy. But if they're from here, most of them, if they're qualified, they're going to eventually buy something, right? Or they're eventually going to sell their house. So my whole point of keeping in touch with people was make them part of your sphere. And worst case scenario, it's happened before, where you are eternally showing the homeowner in downtown Durango other homes, because their house, they have now had 2 kids. They're still living in a 900 square foot house. They're all on top of each other, and they don't know whether to pop the top. Oh my God, that's always the ones that would drive me crazy, because it was like 3 years of going, should I remodel? Should I buy? So I'd show them all these other houses and they'd just be like, oh, I don't want to live there. I want to live downtown Durango. So it was like back and forth and back and forth. And there was nothing you could do. It is what it is. And most of my people ended up popping the top. It was like, you know, $150,000. They could pop the top, make a whole new level, stay in the home they're in, as long as they liked the house they were in. And that was always the push and the pull, was like, God, I really like this house's views, but oh, we'd have to do so much remodeling. And then their home, they're like, we picked it because we like it. So why not just pop the top? Just know, for those people, if you do a good job for someone like that, and they're going to know, they're going to be like, oh my God, Hosea has taken me on so many showings and I ended up not buying a house through him. We ended up popping the top on ours. You've now become part of their family, and they know a lot of other people in Durango. So as long as you keep in touch with them, you just send them something helpful. Maybe you're calling them once a year with their new home's value now that they popped the top. or you do your market analysis for them. Jared Nixon is awesome. He gets so many listings from doing that. Just once a year, he does a little market snapshot of how their home would do in today's market. And he keeps in touch with them. And those are the people who are going to give you more referrals than anyone else. And it's because they can tell their friends, he never sold me a house, but he continues to send me stuff 6 years later. You have to call Hosea. So those are great. Keep that up, even if you're not going to make the sale. But okay, so most buyers are going to buy eventually, but you have to have a trigger. You have to have something that causes them to need to buy. I am pregnant and I am having a baby in 4 months and we need to get into a house before then. Okay, so let's walk you through this. You're having a baby in 4 months, so we better be under contract in 1 month so that you move in and then you still have a good 6 weeks to move in before you're due. So you have to have a trigger, or you have to somehow get them off the fence. So some of those things that might help someone get off the fence, you meet them on floor, they're a local. I've lived out here forever. I've always thought I wanted to move into town. Can you show me listings for a year that are in town so I can make that decision? So what is it that's going to make them get off the fence? You're leading people to, right now in our market, the rates are so freaking low. And it was just announced that they're not going anywhere for like another year at least. They're going to be low, 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 low. So you can't use the rates. You can't say, well, the rates are so great right now, they're going to go up next week. Like, not a real statement. So that can't be used. But you got to think of some other reason, like if it was May. No, let's say it's September. There's so little inventory right now that if you wait another month, there's going to be like zero, because you have so many less new listings coming up. So if you find something that's like 80% perfect, you might want to jump on it immediately, because this market's hot and people don't want to move during the holidays. So they start pulling their houses off the market, or they get sold, or they're not putting new homes on the market. By another month, it's going to be like very quiet, probably, right? So that might be something that I just wanted to talk to you about today's market. I was listening in an office meeting today. I know we've been looking at homes for about 9 months, and is there a time that I can get together with you and Sally and we can talk by phone about what I'm hearing about the market? And they go, oh yeah. Okay. And you've been showing them homes for 9 months. And you say, I was in an office meeting this morning, and I was talking, my managing broker and some of the top agents were talking, and I kept thinking of you. I kept thinking of you every time they were saying other stories about how this time of year, most years, I know we're in a wacky year, but we have really low rates and we have such a hot market. And what I'm afraid of is if you don't find a home by maybe mid-October, you're going to be out of luck until next spring, because you have so few people that want to put their homes on the market. And during the snow season, you can use that. Like, people don't want to be on the market in the snow season. They don't want to be on the market during the holidays. So you can say, most of the inventory has already come up that's going to be for a year. How would it be if you guys waited till spring? Like, does that seem like something that you guys could do? I'm just wondering. And they go, oh God, no, I don't want to wait till spring. We have to find something now. So you've just kind of put that fear in them a little bit, and you're not being pushy. You're just being realistic. Like, I was the kind of new agent that just wanted to be so helpful. And I always thought that my people know more than me. I'm just this young person. Like, I don't know anything. I did know a lot of stuff. And instead, I just let them lead. And I said, oh, they'll figure it out. Oh, they'll figure it out. But what happened is they'd miss out on an opportunity, and they had to wait 6 months to move. And it wouldn't have been more helpful if I was a little bit more direct with them. I was trying to be helpful, but what I was being is I almost was hurting them by saying, oh, they must know more than me. So instead, say, hey, just be a little bit more like, I want you to know what I'm hearing about the market. Maybe you already know this, but I want you to hear what I'm hearing. So does that make sense? Like, you're not being pushy at all. So if you have that personality like me, like that, wanting to be really super sweet, you can still be more direct with them. Okay, finding out their motivation is also key. If you guys have questions, just break in. So this is kind of the point that I want you guys to give me some examples of ones that you've had on floor that you're wondering if they would fit into this. And if you don't have any questions, then I'm going to go into some Ninja favorite buyer questions for floor call is next. So anybody want to break in with something? Okay, break in if you have something that you think of. Here's some right from the Ninja book that I thought were great. 5 favorite floor call questions. What is it about? You didn't think I'd tell you a story today. I'm going to tell you a story. What was it about that home or ad that attracted your attention? So this is like just getting to know somebody. They're picking up the phone and it's this home I want to know more about. And you're like, okay, what is it about that home or ad that attracted your attention? So whatever that one thing is, that first thing that comes out of their mouth is probably their primary motivation. I love the yard. I really love the area, whatever it is. So what's it about your area? Do you own a home now? Oh no, I'm renting, but we want to buy our first home. Okay, I got it. Have you gone through Homespun? Have you seen a lender? Like it leads to other questions, but it's about you trying to figure out what their motivation is. Here's another one. Do you have any other properties written down that you'd like details on? That's perfect. So it's leading to other things. I love that because we used to be, back in the day, every office had their own like buyer's guide that would come out every Sunday. Not buyer's guide. It was like 1-page Herald ad, right? So there's the Wells Group page. There's the Prudential page. They turned into Keller Williams. There's the Coldwell Banker page. So they'd come up, they'd be like, I want information on 646-321. And you're like, okay, any others? And you're like, and you hear them turning the page to the next one, the next ad. And they go, no, not for you. And you say, no, I can answer any questions for anything you have you want about. Oh, you can help me with that too. Yeah, they don't know how that works. So that's another one. So then you can kind of understand what they're looking for. Would it be helpful to you if I got the details on those properties? Yeah, that's a no-brainer. I'll get the information together on these properties for you. When would you like to get together to go over them? So they think they're just going to send them to you in their email and then it's done. And they can look up what they want and they can discard the house and decide they don't want to go see it. But you're saying, when can we get together? I can do a Zoom call if that's more comfortable to you. And do you have a buyer's packet? That's another one that Ninja always says. So if you have a buyer's packet put together of all the things that would be helpful if you ever bought a house, 5% of agents ever do it. So if you say, hey, do you have a buyer's packet? And I think if they're a newer person that's never, newer meaning like they've never bought a house before, that might be helpful. I think that some people who have bought and sold a lot of times will be like, I don't need a buyer's packet. Like, I know what you're trying to say, but I don't need a buyer's packet. But that might be helpful to you. But there were some others that.
So again, I do have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Hosea.
So I got one.
To hear your questions.
One time, so she called and she was asking about a listing, and it was one of Lindsay's listings, and she just wanted to talk to Lindsay about it. So she wasn't working with any realtor at that point. Should I just send those over to the?
You send them to Lindsay. That's a call for Lindsay. Yep.
Perfect.
So never argue with somebody. If they mention an agent's name, it is their listing. It used to be the case too. People would call here because someone would run an ad in the Herald and it would say 259-3333. Norma did them all the time. So Norma, 259-3333. They go, hi, I'm calling about, and you would know that it was her ad they were calling about. Right to Norma. She spent the money on the ad. It's her lead. So anytime you hear someone's, but if Lindsay wasn't available, you say, you know what? I just checked. Here's her cell phone number. You can do that. But let's say they say, is she in? You say, let me ring her. And you hear Deb say, oh, she went to Timbuktu this week. So-and-so is watching her business. But I know that they're out on a showing all day. Let's say that's the situation. So you know who it's supposed to go to. Just be helpful to the person, get their information, get the information they wanted, and it's still Lindsay or whoever's watching Lindsay's business's lead, but you still want to like help the customer, and then get it to the right person once the phone call's done so that you're not delaying the answer.
Cool.
So, yep. Any other good questions?
That one's that for now. I'll let you know.
Okay. Here's some other ones that you can ask when you're trying to get to the core of that buyer. If you're talking to them in a meeting, even if you don't get that much time with them, let's say they walked in, that's the best because you have their focus, their attention. Most of the time when people walk in, they aren't saying, I got to meet my wife in 2 minutes. They want to sit for just a minute. This is the best time you're going to get with them. So here's some great questions. Like, tell me about yourselves. Like, why Durango? Why did you walk in today? What is it about that home? Like, what's your situation right now? Do you have family? What do you do for work? If you could live anywhere, would it be Durango? And I said, we're looking at Durango, but we're also looking in Steamboat Springs. Like, Steamboat, it's beautiful. It's really cold there in the winters. We get nicer winters here. Making jokes about that. Do you own a home now or are you renting? Now you're getting down to like financially type stuff. How long have you lived at your home? How many homes have you owned? How long have you been looking? How many homes have you seen? If they're maybe from this area and you can tell they might have seen other homes with other agents. Have you seen any homes you like and why didn't you buy that one? Have you bought any real estate in Colorado? So these are all just great ways to get into it. How soon would you like to be moved? What's an important time frame for you? How would your plans be affected if you found something earlier than that, or if it took longer to find the right? If you see someone who's coming up here and says, I'm really looking for a lot, but I need it to be $50,000 or less, and it has to be close to Durango, and you say, okay, well, the prices here are a lot higher than this. Oh, that's okay. I can wait a little bit, and say, so what is your time frame on looking to find it? Do you have to find this lot now, or is it just someday in the future? Will anyone be offering, how about this? Is there anything you need to resolve before you purchase a home? That's a great one. So do I have to sell another house? Does my son need to move off to college? I have to get married. Is anyone else going to be involved in this decision to purchase? That's a great question on floor, because what do you have? You have moms that come in that are trying to help their kids out. Not like they're going to give them money. They just think, oh, my kids are looking for a house. I'm going to walk into this COBOL agent and talk to him, because I don't think their realtor's doing a very good job, because they're just being like kind of busybodies. They want to like overly help their kids. So you're helping this parent that has nothing to do with the purchase that their kids are making. So asking like, okay, so you're purchasing the home for yourself, or is there anyone else involved in the purchase? Oh, I'm not going to buy a house. And you're like, well, you just asked me to do like 45 minutes of research for you. And it's the same with like, I have these friends and I really want them to move to Durango. So I said, I just said I would go and get a bunch of information for them and send it. So yeah, do a little bit of research, but not too much, because how many people are actually going to find the job, get the financing, move out here? It's just sort of a long shot. So don't spend too much time on them. And Adrian, is that list of questions something you can email us? You come in next time you're in the office. I will. I can do some photocopying. I have the whole buyer's packet right here, and I can totally make you some copies. So, and yes, I could scan them all to you as well. There's just pages of these. And the better you get at looking at these, the scripts, like you just look at the questions, you don't have to remember all of them. If you just remember a few of them, get the best ones you have down on a piece of paper so that you have that paper with you on floor, so that if somebody's calling, you don't have to try to remember because you're nervous, you're excited, and just have maybe those like, maybe a couple pagers, and maybe have the ones in bold that you like the best, but just something that when someone's calling, you can look at and go, ooh, that's a good one. And make sure you ask a few of those and get some more information. So that's kind of what I got for you. You guys have any other things that have come up for you? Leah, your mute is off, so I'm wondering if you have a question.
No, I didn't know my mute was off.
Oh, come on. You guys, Leah, are you doing floor?
I haven't yet. No, I would like to. If I can actually, have all my children in school, I need to come shadow somebody and then give it a try. So,
yeah.
Yep.
Anybody have things that have come up on floor? Henry, I know you've done a ton of floor. Any weird situations come up for you?
None that I can think of off the top of my head.
Most
of the walk-ins I get are people from out of town that are just looking to buy, in the next year, sometime not anytime soon. So, but I would like to get that drip email happening though, that automatically sends search results and stuff. So
I can totally send you guys, or I like to do the class to 2 or 3 people at a time is it. So if you're interested in that and you know your way around IQ enough that you could get started, then totally let me know and I will teach that class. I mean, we could even do it as a new agent training. If there's enough of you, we'll just do it next Thursday. Anybody else like put their hand up that they'd be interested in knowing about the drip plans? No. Okay. Well, maybe it's just me.
I've taken it already with you.
You did. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. If anybody else wants to, we can totally do that.
I would recommend it because I don't know, a few years back, I actually went and talked to somebody from Wells Group about buying a house in like a year or so. And I still get emails from him. So I think it's really cool. It's nifty. So
who is it that uses it?
Stuart Way.
Yes. Stuart is the person in my farming class last week that I was talking. He had more of the examples than anyone else. He has a really thorough, I don't know if he has an assistant or he does it all himself. I didn't know that he did the emails, but I also know he does a great job with geographic farming, and he just has been very, very consistent over, I mean, he's been in real estate way longer, I think way longer than me. So it's probably been about 20 years or so, but he's been really good at that. So cool. That's interesting. He didn't take you off when you became an agent. So maybe he still thinks you might still buy a house through him. Who knows? But maybe he also isn't taking control of his database too much. Who knows?
I have a question. So to do a drip plan, you're in IQ office and you go to like add action plans and the drip plans pop up. Which one is the one you recommend? Is it the warm, cool, cold for like, that's the one you do when somebody's maybe just browsed on your website or they've asked you one question and then they kind of, or these could be the people that ask you, you know, you waste an hour giving them information. You find out they're not going to buy for a year or two. You could put them on. That would be the drip plan you would put them on. I think
so. So if they were, if you had a face-to-face meeting with them, I don't think that drip plan would work. Like if they walked in and they met you, this is more for people who are like, will you give me some information about you? And so they would get it and be like, what? Right. But there is one that IQ made that's called Buyer Drip Plan. So look, I would sign yourself up for it and see what comes to you and see if you like it. Right. And if so, that's the one I would use if you met someone. So when I had it sent to me, I thought it's not the way I talk, so I wouldn't personally use it. But I definitely thought it was for someone that had sat down and met you once, and now you're keeping in touch with them. Thank you. I want to be your trusted advisor. Here's some great information. So it's way more valuable than mine were more, hey, you were on my website looking for something. Is there anything I can help you with? And then over the 6 months, it's asking questions. Where do you want to buy? Do you know about our area? Do you live here already? So those would be things you already would have known in that 10 seconds that you met them on floor.
Right. Okay.
So.
Okay.
Cool. Well, if you have anything, break in. And otherwise, I will... I'll talk to you guys all next week. And if you have, ladies and guys, if you have anything you'd like me to teach, just let me know. And I'll be out tomorrow, and then I'll be back on Monday for sure. So.